Well, welcome to the drive. Off we go again. It's good to have you with me here as we travel along and discuss philosophical questions of the world and the big questions of the world. Sometimes the small questions of the world, not necessarily big. But we're just having a chat, aren't we? Well, what's up? What's up with me? Lots of things. Lots of things are up. There's lots of struggles all the time, isn't there? I mean, every single one of us are in the same boat. Challenges of family, challenges of workplace, challenges of friends or so-called friends. There's just so many challenges that sometimes you just want to lie down and just get off this merry-go-round that's called life. And you think to yourself, isn't there a simpler life? Like one time, life I think was more simple. I'm not saying it wasn't hard, but it was probably more simple, less things to think about. You'd have to go and basically just go out to your garden, go hunting, and you'd be there with your family, no real bosses, so to speak. But I'm not trying to paint a picture that it was good in bygone eras, because sometimes it was disgustingly bad. But what I'm talking about is we've really complicated life in this last 30 to 40 years with our technology that apparently is supposed to alleviate us and make things easier. But in actual fact, it doesn't make things easier. It just allows us to be able to do more things. More things, because that job's taken care of. That doesn't take too long anymore. I can go do this, I can go do that. We don't seem to have any time for our children. We'd rather just put them in front of a TV set and say, here, babysit my child. Meanwhile, our children grow up being disconnected from the parents, and we wonder why they don't listen to us. I read a very interesting book on this. It changed my thinking towards young people, millennials, because we often think, they're just spoiled. They grow up in a really rich country and they're just very spoiled and they're narcissists and they just think of themselves. But this book actually suggested that we have weaned our children off us. We've actually, since women particularly have gone to work, that they haven't had time like they once did for their children. So they would put them in front of a kindergarten, they'd put them in front of the TV, in front of the Wiggles, in front of Sesame Street. And that would babysit them. That would bring them up with their morals. That would bring them up with their worldview and their way of thinking. And they believe that parents only have roughly, I think it is, 5% influence over our children. Can you believe that? Only about 5% influence over our children. Now, obviously, some homeschool their kids or some are on the farm. But even then, if you think about the quality time that you spend with your child, it is not a lot of time. One time fathers would be in the shed teaching their son the trade and spending all day with them, all day to talk and communicate. But we don't have that time anymore, and we wonder why our families are falling apart. And as we all know, the family is the backbone of society. And once that starts to break down, then all of a sudden we need experts in every area that our grandparents and our parents once looked after with our kids. Now we need these experts because we're so unsure, disconnected. And where's it all going to end? Well, the Bible tells us that in the last days, children are going to be disobedient to parents, lovers of themselves. Have you ever seen that, constantly taking photos with their phones, holding it up in front of their face, trying to get the most beautiful photo of themselves they ever could? And so they're very self-focused, more than they ever have been with some of this technology, which can bring about mental issues there alone just by being so focused. I mean, you look at supermodels. Many people laud them up as some of the beautifulest women in the world. They're tall, they're this and that. But they tend to be some of the most insecure women. Insecure about their looks. And we wonder why they would be like that. But they are so focused on their product, which is them and how they look, that they see every flaw. And they can be quite nasty to each other, pointing out each other's flaw. And because of that self-focusedness, they can end up with mental issues and not really liking themselves at all, when the rest of the world thinks they're amazing. So this is a sad reality of modern times. Everything is about selling a product and consumerism. Everything is consumerism these days. You remember one time back in the 60s or 70s, they would do a commercial for a Holden ute, and they'd say, you know, if you're a farmer or if you need to throw a bale of hay in the back of the ute, then please consider Holden, because Holden's a good car. So they would look at the need and then say, our product can fit your need. But if you look at Holden and Ford ute ads these days, big V8s, they create a need and a desire to want their car because their car's so hot, it's so powerful, it's so cool. Oh, and at the end of the day, you can throw a bale of hay in the back. So they create a need for sales instead of fulfilling a need. And this is what we are now in this economic time. It's no different to little termites eating their own house down. We on planet Earth are eating our own house down. There's only one hope. We're losing this planet. They don't believe it's going to survive past another 40 odd years. We'd be very lucky. But the Bible tells us that Jesus Christ is going to come back to this earth before man destroys this earth. And that could be very, very soon. And so we need to be ready for him. He's the only one that's going to bring balance and harmony back to this earth. And so I'm putting all of my eggs in the basket of Jesus' return. I hope you do too. Thank you for coming on the drive today, and please subscribe. Just click on that little subscribe button down in the right hand corner, and you can come along with me every time I post a little bit of a habit chat. So bless you now.